Chorda agus Fairplay we have the Treasa Ní Cheannabháin lehi glófortiocht as Spáin leis Palestine. Thank you ever so much for giving up your glorious day that you could be making hay, as the song says, or anywhere else, to show solidarity here with Gaza. And I'm just going to give you a few statistics very briefly now, just to bring you up to date, especially for those people that are not on the internet. What has Israel done to this tiny, imprisoned, besieged enclave for the past 29 days? First and foremost, they have slaughtered 1,881, to my knowledge now. This morning another 12-year-old boy was killed in northern Gaza. So those people have been killed, and of that amount we have 430 children now that have been killed in Gaza. 79 elderly, 243 women, 1,115 men. And then they have gone to heaven, we are praying. But there are almost 10,000 Palestinians in Gaza now who are very seriously injured. These serious injuries are both legs amputated, arms amputated, brain injuries, paralysis, paralysed for life. Some of them children will never ever walk again. You name it, it's there. And as the doctor was saying from El Shifa Hospital, where I visited a few years ago, this hospital is supposed to serve 500,000 people of a public, and they expect to be able to handle 1 to 2 very seriously injured people in 15 minutes. But it is impossible for any hospital to handle 150 seriously injured people in 15 minutes. And there is a doctor on Facebook telling us that they had to go with the ones they thought might have a chance of survival. He gave an example. He said some patients had arrested. They went into cardiac arrest. They had to leave them there and go with those that they thought had a better chance. You have to remember that Gaza is besieged by Egypt as well, and this was shown through all the patients that needed more urgent medical care than was available in Gaza, and the Egyptians would not let those patients out. They did let patients out that had Egyptian passports or travel passes or married to Egyptians. Those patients are in hospitals in Cairo and being cared for. But unfortunately, the Palestinian is at the bottom of the pile. And that is why that the number that are dead is so high. Also, you have to remember that almost 500,000 Palestinians in Gaza now are displaced totally, because more than 10,000 houses were leveled to the ground. Leveled to the ground. More than 47 schools and universities, anything to do with education, were leveled to the ground as well. And hospitals were leveled to the ground. Ambulances, paramedics killed, doctors killed, nurses killed, fire engines. The power plant bombed, the power plant that they depend on. So fragile all the time. We hear that it's always darkness in Gaza. And when we visited Gaza, we went in there in the dark. There was no light at night, and there have been horrendous accidents, houses burning down, people being burned alive because of the use of candles and gas cylinders bursting. This is the everyday life of the Palestinian people. And yet you have the likes of President, he calls Palestinian people have brought this on themselves because of Hamas. I want to make it clear to everybody here today, Hamas is the resistance. You resist to exist. You exist to resist. This is very important to remember. You can imagine Gaza, that 352 kilometre square piece of land. Imagine that is your house, and that some perpetrators, robbers, thieves, rapists break into your house at night, and they rape, and they plunder, and they take your house. How would you feel? Would you feel bad if you didn't fight back and leave it to the robbers and to the perpetrators? That's what Hamas are doing. They feel they have to fight back. Almost 8 years under siege now. No electricity, like I said. No cooking gas. No oil. Can't go out to sea to fish except 3 nautical miles. If they go beyond that, they are shot at. You could say that the Israeli government, since 1948, have known nothing but to occupy a people, the Palestinian people. They are obsessed with occupation, and they don't intend to give up. You'll hear experts saying that Israel is not defending her country. She is defending her occupation of the Palestinian people, because they're all held in Bantustans up in the West Bank as well. And as I've said before, the West Bank is like Swiss cheese with all the settlements that are there now. And settlements are not tents or mobile homes. These are huge housing estates, residences with their swimming pools that have taken the land from the Palestinians, fought them off, pulled down their houses. They didn't care if the people were inside or not, leveled the houses, and that is why we are boycotting Caterpillar and anything to do with Caterpillar that built that horrendous wall in Palestine. We brought down the Berlin Wall in 1988, and another wall goes up in the year 2000 that the Israelis have built, another apartheid wall. We need an end to apartheid. We need an end to the occupation. We need the Palestinian people to be free at last, free at last, free at last, in the words of Dr. What was his name? Martin Luther King. And in the words of Nelson Mandela, we are not free until the Palestinians are free. If you can at all, please join us tomorrow. There is a bus, as Joe said, leaving from the cathedral, PJ Foley, from Carrow. The bus can take 50. The sooner you book your seat on the bus, the sooner he will know if there's a second bus necessary. At the minute, there are 25 people booked on that bus. I appeal to you, please go to Dublin, to O'Connell Street, to the Spire tomorrow. There are 10 buses coming from the north of Ireland. We have not even half a bus filled in Galway yet. I appeal to you, this is a national day. We want everybody in Dublin for this massive march to show the Israeli embassy and to the Israelis everywhere, all over the world, wherever they are, we will not accept genocide, because that's what's going on in Gaza. It's genocide. Genocide of a people. They don't want our charity. They don't want charity or anything from the Israelis. They want their freedom. They want the freedom very obvious that what they're after is human beings, children, human beings like you and me that they want to get rid of. There is also another sinister reason why the Israelis want to go in and wipe out Gaza. There is gas. There has been gas discovered for the past 10 years off the coast of Gaza. The Israelis are working on it right now. That's another reason why they don't want the Palestinians in their place, because they'd have to share it with them. Remember, shell to sea here. Well, the same thing and worse is happening in Gaza as I speak to you. Mila Mahagay, free, free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free, free Gaza!
Free, free Gaza!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
In our millions, in our thousands, in our millions!
We are all Palestinians!
End apartheid now! Boycott Israel! Boycott now! Boycott Israel!
Boycott now!
Boycott Israel!
Boycott now!